What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of La Banca Podcast in English. I'm your host, Mark, aka Marquinho, aka H. Segovia, alongside my co-host Fidel. What's going on, brother?
Yo, it's good, man. We're ready to talk about this, man. We got some pretty good topics tonight. I'm really excited, man. Hey, little man, yo, what a surprise, my man. Good to see you.
What's up,
Uh,
guys?
I was just saying hi to our audience, man, and just getting ready to get started on some topics for tonight's Banca podcast. So let's go.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Little man, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing fine. Mark Fidel. I'm here to join you on the English version. Happy to be here, and then just like Fidel said, let's talk some soccer.
Man, it's always good to have a threesome, man. But no. But before we start, man, we want to wish a very happy birthday to one of our co-hosts here, Fidel, turning 21 years old for the 15th straight season.
Ooh, Fidel!
He
Happy
just gave up
birthday,
my
Fidel.
age.
brother.
I feel good, man. I feel good. I feel like I'm still in my 20s. I go out and exercise. I got good health. I got my family, my friends. I appreciate you guys for the love. And yeah, man. Hopefully I get a few more years left in me. See what's up.
Nah, man. I hope you get a whole lot more, man. But yeah, let's get started, guys, because we're trying to not be out here late. We got bedtimes to get to, so we got work in the morning. So let's go. But the first topic, man, unfortunately, is not going to be a very positive topic that we're going to start off with. Obviously, we know last week's show we started with the U23 sides. They're playing right now for the Olympic qualifications. We know that both Honduras and Mexico have qualified for the Tokyo Olympics this season, and they're currently playing right now for just the right to say they finished first. But unfortunately, with that being said, the United States didn't qualify again for the Olympics. Guys, obviously this is I don't know if it's as big of an embarrassment as we might portray it to be. I'm sorry, excuse me. But what is your thoughts on the fact that the United States can't qualify, can't get one or two spots to qualify for the Olympics, man? Little, I'm gonna start with you.
It's USA. It's a disappointment. Again for the third time. This is the third time that the USA hasn't qualified for the Olympics. I think the USA has been doing pretty good in soccer. They have been getting great players, as we can see. We got Pulisic in the Premier League. We got McKinney playing for Juventus, and then we got Sergio Aguero playing for Barcelona. So we can say they got some pretty good talent. Unfortunately for the Olympics, this is the third time they've been disqualified for the pre-Olympics, so they have not been able to qualify. I think at this time of the century, for the USA not to qualify for the Olympics is highly disappointment.
Mm-hmm. Fidel, obviously, you being a coach and you know what it takes to get your team ready to go out there and compete and to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve every game in and game out, right? What are your thoughts on the fact that the USA really, it looks like they didn't prioritize this tournament, man. It looks like the Olympics was just kind of on the back burner. They obviously have the senior team over there in Europe playing for a couple friendlies right now. Is there something wrong with the way they strategize this and not really focusing on the Olympic qualification?
Well, that's the correct question. I mean, what is the U.S. really prioritizing, right? Do we really want to go medal, or do we really want to give experience to these young guys in the main national team, right? Because if you look at it, Serginho, all these guys were playing for Reina. They were all playing for the top team, right? The national team. And so you kind of question, well, are they trying to give this group of guys more experience? Where are they trying to go? You ask me. We really got to go hands down to the president and say, why not prioritize everything? I mean, if these guys have a chance to go to the Olympics and win a gold medal, why not give it a priority? I mean, you have a great group of young guys right now with big names in big clubs. When are you ever going to get this again? I mean, we don't know if the U.S. is ever going to be able to develop this group of guys ever again to be in this position. So why not? Right? And then if you don't qualify or if you don't get there, then yes, we can seriously call this an upset, right? Like big time. But as of right now, it looks like they never gave it a priority, and it's a shame. It's a real big shame because everybody else is giving it a priority, and so it falls into that category of like, what are your objectives, what are your goals, and where are you trying to go with the national team, or even the youth teams, right? Because I think everything's important. When Mexico won those two under 17s, under 17 World Cups, that was huge for the country.
Yeah,
That was huge. That meant that there was future for the national team. That meant that there was future and maybe in the next decade. It was all up to these young adults to see if they can keep that level of playing or grow into another level of playing and exercise more a better soccer, right?
for
So to
sure.
this day, I think we really need to sit down with the president of the U.S. and say, listen, if the whole world's doing things this way, why aren't you doing it that way? And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest reasons why it's like the U.S. nemesis is themselves. They're
Okay.
stopping themselves from being successful and from really getting to where everybody else is. You asked me,
So
right? Go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Last point that I have to say. You asked me as a coach, right? Well, I get to compete against schools who have turf fields, have lights. Those guys can stay past 6:30, 7 p.m. to practice. I don't have the luxury. I have a grass field which they never cut my grass. I have to paint my own field. I have no lights. So after 30 minutes of practice, it's dark. I have to send my kids home. How can I compete with everybody else if I'm not doing what everybody else is doing? That's just what I'm trying to give as a metaphor here because they're not doing it. So you
Yeah,
can't be successful.
our friend Josh from chat, he says USA out, nothing new. And that's kind of sad to feel that way. Obviously because
Yeah.
along with Mexico, USA, the United States should be dominating this region. In CONCACAF, obviously. So it's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a letdown. And I mean, I understand what they're trying to do, but at the same time, I mean, realistically, the fact that they couldn't qualify, get one of the two spots, it's kind of a shame. But on the opposite side of that spectrum, obviously, we gotta give it up to a team like to Honduras. I mean, for the fact that they qualified for that second spot, they're currently playing against Mexico right now to finish first in this qualification table. But round of applause for those guys. I mean, those in that country, Honduras is no stranger to Olympic Games. They're no stranger to World Cups in their recent history. So they might have had a little bit of a down gap after their two back-to-back World Cups, but there might be a rise in Honduran football again, because of this experience and this and in this how well they've done in this tournament for the Olympics. But yeah, man, it's a shame. USA out, Mexico, Honduras in for Tokyo Olympics. They'll be representing us in the CONCACAF region for us in Tokyo Olympics this year. But moving on, man. Obviously, we know there's a lot of international football going on, and a lot of the senior teams playing, especially in Europe, Euro qualifiers. U21s, all different types of tournaments right now. International breaks, that's what usually it means. But unfortunately, one of the biggest players right now, Robert Lewandowski for Bayern Munich, who plays for Poland, got injured, knee ligament injury that's going to put him out for 4 to 6 weeks. It's a shame, man, honestly, in my opinion, because, Lewandowski was having a monster of a season just to back up the season that he had last season. Obviously, we know he's motivated right now because he was very, very, very disappointed in the fact that he didn't win the Ballon d'Or last season because that award was canceled for last season, which is a shame because, the Champions League was played. All the leagues were finished. So why did they cancel the most prestigious individual award, But I think we all in agreement that last season, if Ballon d'Or was available, it would have gone to Robert Lewandowski. So obviously, he came back this season with a mission in mind to, go ahead and show everybody that he was the true winner of the Ballon d'Or. Little man, what do you think this does for Bayern Munich now going forward? I mean, obviously they have important matches coming up these next 4 to 6 weeks, including home and away in the Champions League against PSG, the finals rematch from last season. Do you think this hampers their odds to repeat as Champions League winners, or do you think this doesn't hurt them that much?
I think it does. I think it does because half of the goals come from Robert Lewandowski. And you are right. He's gonna miss the 7th and the 13th game of as dates. So he's not going to be able to attend those games, and hopefully they don't push it because these days you can push a lot of stuff, which is not recommended because you can have a, a worst injury. But yeah, I think it's going to affect them. It's going to affect them in a way because Robert Lewandowski, he's not the captain, but he's a leader of the team, and plus he's a goal scorer and an assistant too at the same time. So I think they're gonna find themselves a little bit affected by that. It's gonna let's say that they had as we said here, they had a pretty good chance of beating PSG. Now they're gonna struggle a little bit more, and maybe not even that. Maybe they might end up losing.
Wow. Fidel, what do you think? Do you think this hampers their opportunity of going back to back on Champions League? Or do you even think it affects their, because they only have a 4-point lead above RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. So, I mean, it could hurt them both ways, Champions League and domestic league.
Man, I beg to differ. I'm going against Letterman on this one. I just think Bayern is at a whole nother level. I think we underestimate Bayern too much, just because it's not Barcelona, it's not Real, it's not the Premier League teams. But Bayern is a solid team. They got enough players in the bench they can step in and represent. I mean, you got enough forwards up there. You got enough pieces in there. And he's right. I mean, Lewandowski does score half of the goals, but that's because everybody creates to give him easy goals. So everybody else gets half of a goal, if you want to put it that way. Lewandowski's goals are amazing, but most of his goals are just cut into the space and put it in. And so anybody else can do that as long as they read the game. And again, like I said, I don't see Bayern losing in the Champions. I see it by big score. And I say that because everybody in that team is a contributor. You never know. You never know. Just because Lewandowski is not in there, maybe it'll allow other guys to come out of their shell and be more offensive. So I see Bayern stepping in and being a big difference in that game. But the biggest thing, Lewandowski being injured, how bad is this going to impact him from becoming the goal, winning the gold boot and the Ballon d'Oro, because Messi is the only one competing with him, and since he's going to be out already enough, we don't talk a lot about Lewandowski. So now that he's injured, we're not going to talk about him even at all. So think about it, man. Everybody is going to give Messi, the best player of the year again.
It's a great point that you make, and I think I'm going to go a little bit against little bit on this one as well, because I think if there's a team that can hamper the fact that they're losing their top scorer, it is Bayern Munich, because they have such a complete team. But I mean, let's not consider this injury not to be Montemenes, because I mean, Lewandowski, he might be the best number 9 in the world right now, arguably. In my opinion, I think he's the best number 9 right now. So losing a player of that caliber, obviously there's going to be something that you lose, but with that being said, do I think that it hampers their position in the Bundesliga? I don't think so. Do I think that it might be a little bit more difficult for them to beat PSG in Champions League? Yeah, I do think, because obviously, Lewandowski's that player that can put 2 or 3 goals in you. But when you lose someone like that, obviously you lose that quality. But do I think they're going to lose to PSG in Champions League? No, I don't think that either. So, but I mean, and speaking of the Ballon d'Or, obviously that's going to be a huge personal, I think for him personally, he's going to feel very hurt from the fact that he's going to lose that on this award again, because the only other player that was anywhere near the stratosphere that Lewandowski was playing in right now is Lionel Messi. And depending on what he does over there in La Liga, obviously if they win a double Copa del Rey in La Liga, he'll be up there for it. Especially with his goal scoring prowess and assisting the ball and everything that he does in Barcelona. It's an unfortunate thing for Lewandowski, man. And hopefully he gets well soon and he comes back. Let's hope he doesn't come back too soon where he re-injures himself and loses more time than what he needs to, man. But this show, obviously, we're gonna have a little bit of a theme here. We're gonna be talking about a lot of different number 9s today. Yeah. We talked about Lewandowski, but let's talk about another number 9 who's been doing it for the last 10 plus years, man, and especially 10 years in Manchester City. Sergio Aguero. said his goodbyes to Man City today. After the season, he will be leaving Man City. There's no doubt about that. He leaves Manchester City. Let me give you a little bit of statistics. He's played for Man City 384 total games, which in those 384 games, he scored 257 goals and provided 73 assists. He's won 4 Premier Leagues, 5 Carabao Cups, 1 FA Cup, and 3 Supporters' Shields. He holds the record for most hat tricks by a Premier League player with 12. And he's number 4 currently in the all-time Premier League scoring list behind Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney, and Andrew Cole. And he's only 6 goals away from getting to the 3rd spot, which is Andrew Cole at 187. He currently has 181. Guys, let me ask you this question about Sergio Kun Aguero. Obviously, his history is cemented. He'll have a statue outside of Man City's stadium someday. But my question to you guys is, do you believe that Sergio Aguero is the best striker, best forward ever in the Premier League history? Fidel, I'll ask you first.
No, definitely not. I mean, you got other names as Henry, you got Wayne Rooney, you got others that maybe don't have the same stats as Aguero, but I mean, you have so much to talk about. I mean, Rooney wasn't just a forward, he was a creator as well. And Henry, you can't even say enough about Henry. Henry was everything, you know? So Aguero is more like a shadow, you know, like I've always said, Aguero is, yes, he's got great presence. He's done a lot for the sport. He's done a lot for teams. But at the same time, he's also always had so much potential around him, so much talent around him that it just seems to be so easy. When you look at Henry, it's like Henry carried team, you know? And so Aguero's always been like in the shadow because he doesn't really stand out a lot, even though he scores a lot, right? So to me, it's not the best 9 in the Premier League or who's ever played in the Premier League, but he's one of the top 5, maybe. Yeah.
Little man, I ask you the same question. Do you think he's the best Premier League striker in the history of the Premier League?
I totally agree with Fidel. I think Thierry Henry was a much better forward than Kun Aguero. Thierry Henry won Ballon d'Oro. Kun Aguero never won one. I don't even think he was close to one. He's the best forward that Manchester City has. Yes, he is. He won the first title for Man City, and he's their goal leader. And I think that he's just that. He's a great forward, a very good investment for Man City. Mm-hmm. And you know, he just like you say, he deserves maybe a statue.
Yeah, man. I mean,
outside the stadium.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, I'm gonna agree with y'all too, and you know, I mean, I'm nothing to take away from Kun Aguero. I'm wearing this Manchester City shirt in honor of him. Obviously, you know, for those who know me, you know, I'm an Arsenal fan, so for me to be wearing this shirt, you know, it's because of my respect and love for Kun Aguero. But anyways, but yeah, let me give you one more statistic before we move on, and you know, from Kun Aguero, but you know, he is the leading goal scorer as far as goals per minute. He scores a goal every 108 minutes. Second place is Titi Henry every 122 minutes. And third place is Harry Kane at every 123 minutes. So with that being said, if, you know, we all know that, you know, Kun Aguero has had a little bit of an injury history and misses out games, especially this season, you know, and we mentioned that he is right now currently number 4th all time in Premier League goals. But if he was able to play, let's say 80% of the matches that he's missed, with given the 108 goals per minute ratio, he would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 225, 235 goals in his Premier League career, which would put him cementally in second place, way ahead of Wayne Rooney and just a little bit behind Alan Shearer. So, you know, it's one of those things where injuries do cause a problem sometimes in players' careers, you know, from gaining, you know, huge feats and huge honors. But with that being said, you know, when he's there, he's scoring goals. We know that. Obviously, his most important goal, biggest goal, was the game tying goal against QPR that took away the title away from Manchester United, that first Premier League title that they celebrated. You know, obviously, we all know the historical call of, you know, Aguero, you know, and you know, just how crazy Man City went that day, because Manchester United was celebrating the title already, you know.
Yeah.
And they took,
he gave the title after 24 years.
Right.
Yes.
For Man City.
So yeah, guys. So man, obviously, big ups to Sergio Aguero. One more question before we go before we move on to the next number 9 that we're talking about today. What team do you think he plays for next season? Little man, I'll let you answer that question first.
Um, there's a lot of rumors saying that he wants to go with his best friend to Barcelona. Um, that will be one of the things. That will be one of the players that he will be able. That will be one of the players that Messi will be able to stay in Barcelona, and they bring his longtime friend Kun Agüero. But Koeman already said he doesn't want him. But Barcelona people, he's free and he's a pretty good forward. He still got
Yeah, man,
two more good years, and he's free, guys. I think
that's true.
Barcelona should be able to take him. But if Barcelona does not want him, PSG is gonna be one of the candidates who's willing to take Kun Agüero inside.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a Barcelona fan, I would love to see Kun Agüero paired up with Messi. I think he would do a solid job for Barcelona. Obviously, he has a lot of experience in La Liga, obviously with his tenure in Atletico Madrid. Fidel, I'm asking you the same question, bro. Who do you think Kun Agüero plays for next season?
Man, I'm thinking the same way. I think he is gonna go to PSG. It just looks like Kun does have like a couple of years left in his European career. Um, and I mean, what else? Where else are you gonna go to a league that is not that competitive, that won't ask too much of you, and maybe even not get you injured so much? And those two leagues that I can think of are Italy and France, and of course PSG. PSG is just the team with the money, the team with the luxury, the team that can afford him, the team that can give him that space and that position for him to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with either one of y'all, whether it's PSG or Barcelona, and then obviously the other team then rumored to be out for him is Juventus. But I mean, yeah, PSG would be. I think if I'm picking today, would lead the pack, obviously because I think the whole Barcelona situation is still up in the air, so who knows what's going to happen over there. But yeah, PSG, they have the money, they have the luxury, they have the funds. Then hey, you could win titles and not have to play every day. So it's a win-win for both player and club if they decide to go that route. But so guys, the third number 9 that we're going to be talking about today, in the last one before the show ends, we're talking about a young guy, a young gunner. Well, hopefully future young gunner, maybe, possibly not, but whatever. Ilan Haaland, Borussia Dortmund's number 20, a 20-year-old forward who currently is playing for Norway. Borussia Dortmund said a couple days ago, if they want Haaland, we'll sell you Haaland this summer, but he's going to cost you 180 million euros. Guys, my question to you is Haaland worth 180 million euros? And if he is, who's paying the 180 million euros to take Haaland? Fidel, I'm going to ask you this question first, man. Do you think Haaland is sold this summer for 180 million? And what team buys him?
So the only ones that can afford him, to my point of view, is City, Man City, Man United, Real Madrid, to my point of view, of course. You even throw Chelsea in there, but I don't think it's a good pick for Chelsea. But I am going to say this. Just to be clear, right? Holland and Dortmund are like many other players. Dortmund is a team that builds players to sell them, right? And you ask about $180 million for a player, right? Who is probably going to be one of the best players in the world, and no doubt maybe even win the Balón de Oro. But to me, it's like, who really messed this up for the whole world to compete money-wise? Neymar, of course. Whenever Neymar's contract came out and PSG pay that clause to take him, because they didn't even have to negotiate with the club. They just had to pay the clause, talk to the lawyers, and Neymar was gone, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is, this is ridiculous, right? Like, before you would hear about players getting a clause of $50 million, maybe $35 million. Now you're going over the 150 million. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absurd, right? So I think to a certain point, it hurts players, it hurts teams, definitely, because those teams that can really take advantage of that can't, because they don't have the money. And there's only a handful of teams that can really do that. And that's bad for the sport. So I am gonna tell you this: Haaland is not worth that money, to my point of view. But they're making him this expensive because at the end of the day, it's a long-term investment for any team that takes Holland because he's so young, he's so talented, and he could just exploit and be the best player in the world. So that's the reason why they put in him at 100 million. And I think at the same time, they're just trying to make it difficult for teams to do that, to get him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and before we get to little, our friend Paul Fletes on the chat says, and this is another guy, hey, what about Chelsea? These Chelsea fans out here today, they want Haaland, man.
The wallet is available.
There's not a single club in Europe right now that wants Haaland right now. Haaland is the hot forward at this moment right now. Every club wants Haaland. It's just the point of who can afford Haaland and who does Haaland want to play with. For.
Little, tell us who he wants to play for.
The rumors out there, he wants to play for Real Madrid. He wants to play for Real Madrid. The president of Borussia Dortmund has a very good relationship with the president of Real Madrid, Florentino Perez. The thing is here that the president of Borussia Dortmund is not going to sell Haaland if they don't qualify for the Champions. Now they're in 5th place and they're 4 points away from the 4th place. So that's the rumor out there. He said that he's not gonna at this moment, this time he says he's not gonna sell Haaland. But I don't know. At the end of the day, maybe he's just like, all right, he's not worth 180. I think he's worth the most 150. 150, 120.
But obviously the economy of soccer has changed because of the pandemic. Obviously we know that a lot of clubs are not able to do what they used to as far as throwing money around. But 150, 180, especially for a player like that, like you said, the biggest difference here, and I think the biggest variable that it needs to be focused on is the fact that at his age, at 20-year-old, you're talking about a player who can realistically give you 10 years, and after those 10 years, still be in his prime. Yeah. And so you're talking about a player that not only can give you 10 years, obviously bearing any injuries, but can give you more than that, who can be a historical player for your club, whoever decides to buy him, whether it's Man City, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Barcelona, whoever. But the fact of the matter is, like you said, and I like what you bring up, little man. Obviously the fact that Borussia Dortmund, whether or not they qualify for Champions League, because right now they're kind of struggling a little bit in the domestic league. But it's one of those things where if the club, whatever club is willing to pay, they're gonna go out and pay regardless. Because that's how we know the soccer world to be, right?
Well, remember there's 2 teams right now that actually going for him. There's 2 teams that actually they actually do want to bring him inside.
Actively,
other teams, they want him, but it's actually 2 teams right now that are really fighting for him, which is Man City and Real Madrid. Now, with that being said, Fidel in the Spanish version says something about Erling Haaland's promoter, Mino Riola. Mino Riola said he's a very conflicted agent. He does not like Pep Guardiola. Him and Pep Guardiola had a few problems back when Pep Guardiola was head coach of Barcelona for Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So he does not like Pep Guardiola. That's why Pep Guardiola now buys players from his brother, which is also an agent. But the reason he might come to Real Madrid is that when Haaland becomes officially for sale, the first person that's going to be notified for this is going to be President Florentino Perez. And if he says yes, they will go for him first.
Well, there's a lot of facts in that, but obviously this is the problem about soccer and football, to be honest. And this is my opinion. The fact that you have to mention the agent's name, who cares what the agent thinks? Who cares what relationship you have with the agent and the president and whoever? The agent's not the one playing soccer. Right? The agent's not the one. The agent's not the one. No, hold on. Mino Raiola, the reason why he's been in the news, like him, man, agents like him, like George
Well, he's the
Mendes,
second biggest
uh,
agent of the
you,
world.
you
He's the
know,
second biggest agent of the
yeah,
world.
yeah. These super agents, they all they're worried about, and the reason why there's all these transfers go around is because the money that they get paid, the agent fees, the percentages of the transfer fee, the under the table fee, the whatever other fee they can find, and that's the problem with soccer today, man. That's why all these players are always seem to be rumored to be moving somewhere else when realistically they're happy. They just want to play soccer, man. And regardless if Haaland ends up in Madrid or he doesn't, it should be because he wants to, not because of the relationship between Florentino and Rayona,
Exactly, Mark.
or if
Exactly.
the
And
or if
Haaland wants
Haaland
to
ends
play
up
for
in
Real Madrid.
yeah, or if he
Haaland
or if
wants to
he
play
ends
for Real
up
Madrid.
or if he ends
He
up
does
in
want
Man
to play for.
City, or if he ends up in Man City, great. I would be ecstatic if he ends up in Man City, just to be like, I don't just for a young 20-year-old to say, you know what? Yeah, I know that you're a super agent. I know you made all this money with all these other players. I know you represent XYZ player and this, and they've done great things. Yeah, but I'm the next thing, and I'm gonna go here because this is where I want to go. Because my father played here. My father wants me to come over here. I love Pep's game. I respect him, and that's who I want to play for. That's
Right.
what I want to see, regardless of the fact. Yeah, I think these agents are taking over soccer too much, man, and it's a shame because they're killing it. They're killing the game from the inside economically. Because I mean, even though we know soccer makes a whole lot of money, but man, these numbers they're outrageous, man.
Absolutely.
Like like
Well,
go ahead.
well, I'm gonna say, just sorry to interrupt you there, Mark, but this summer is gonna be a pretty hot summer, guys. It's gonna be pretty good. There's gonna be a lot of movements, a lot of key players. If players don't go to this, if key players don't go to this team, the whole thing changes. So we're gonna have a pretty intense summer.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
right.
So before we go, guys, let me ask you a question. So who do you think ends up with Haaland, Fidel?
Man, I honestly tell you that it's hopefully not a Premier League team. I do think he's gonna stay somewhere along the Liga Española. I can't tell you Barcelona because they're broke and they're gonna have to sell most of their young guys to get them. But Madrid looks like good in the hunt. Other than that, maybe his dad can convince him to go to Man City, and I hope he doesn't because I think the Premier League is just a too rough league to get injured. And you know
But if he makes it there, man, he'd be one of the greatest of all time.
that's true.
Little, obviously, I know where you want him to go in Madrid. So, but without being biased, do you think he ends up in Madrid? And if he doesn't, who do you think he ends up with?
Well, he's at this moment right now, he's Real Madrid's priority right now. He's a priority. Real Madrid got first hand on him. This year, I mean, this for what it says for Real Madrid for the summer, Real Madrid's going to drop a big bomb this summer. They're going to make a name for themselves this summer. They're going to put the name Real Madrid at top as the Galacticos again. They're willing to bring Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, and Alaba. They're going to try they're going to try their best to make this happen this summer. So I think he's going to end up in Real Madrid. He wants to play for Real Madrid. So now
Well,
remember what Diego Armando Maradona once said: the the good players decide
the
what they
best,
want to
no,
play
no,
at.
not the good players, the best players.
The best players decide where they want to play at. They
Exactly.
make the decision.
That's why I hope he decides and doesn't let his agent influence him. But guys, we're coming to the end of the show. Obviously, the English version is a little bit abbreviated from the Spanish version. I know we do an hour long or hour plus on the Spanish. We try to keep the English version about 40 minutes or less, depending on what the topics are and how hot the topics are. But guys, thank you very much for joining us. I know it's a little bit late, but we appreciate the fact that you're here with us live, or whether or not you view us later on throughout the day or throughout the week. But please, guys, if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up, a like, please subscribe. And then if you have other friends that love soccer, love talking soccer, please share this video to them, let them know about us. Comment, if there's a team that you want to talk about, a league that we don't really talk really touch bases with, let us know in the comments. Send us whatever, comment on any video, and we'll send you a shout out, and we'll make sure to include those clubs in those leagues in the next shows, man, for sure. But before we go, Fidel, anything you want to mention to the fans out there?
Yo, man, it's getting better. Champions League's coming up, so let's keep watching the show. We're gonna be out here every Tuesday, starting from 7:30 in Spanish. So give us a share, like, and subscribe, and we'll keep coming back, guys. Thank you.
For sure. Little, anything before we go?
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for hosting us today. I mean, thank you for being in our chat. I really appreciate y'all guys being on the chat. It was always good to chat with y'all and to hear what y'all got for your opinions on here. And just like Mark said, and just give us a like and subscribe and tell your friends. We're not professionals, but we like this. We like doing this for fun. Plus, the love of soccer is always good.
For sure. But yeah, like everybody else said, man, thank you again, guys, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 7:30 with the Spanish show, and right after that, the English show. So see you guys.